All deer in this video are wild. No canned shots, semi-tame deer, no high fences or farm whitetails. Just wild whitetails. But first, the 2011 Rut Prediction. Whitetail hunters across the Northeast and the Midwest will see a wonderful rut in 2011 with two major peaks of activity. The first of these peaks will hit in the middle of October and the second will follow 1 month later, peaking at the end of the third week of November. The third minor peak will occur in the middle of December. Can we put our finger on the exact date when whitetails will be rutting? This question has been pondered by generations of deer hunters. The fawn drop, velvet shedding, scrape activity, and the shedding of antlers each occurs at different times, 1 year to the next. But is there a pattern? And can it be predicted? And what about accountability? Is there a right or a wrong? In one word, yes. Yes. There's an amazing correlation on years when the moon's phases fall on the same days, and rut behavior is like a mirror image of that year. The moon phases in 2011 occur almost exactly as they did in the year 2000. The harvest moon being on September 13th, rut spikes will follow. October and the third week of November as they unfolded 11 years ago. But more so, whitetails are termed short-day breeders by biologists. Short-day breeders are animals that are polyestrous, have more than one estrus cycle in any given time of year, and breed in the fall. It's a behavioral designation by biologists that fits many animals, including deer, sheep, fox, elk, all affected by photoperiodism and timed by the shortening daylight in autumn and fine-tuned by the full moon cycles. Sheep breeders commonly use melatonin-soaked inserts in ewes to hold up their estrus cycle, and that way ewes cycle at the same time or bred at the same time and drop their lambs at nearly the same time. It's been documented, Chew Workman Axelrod in 1964, that estrus in rats is inhibited by melatonin treatments. Significant research has been done studying melatonin production and suppression through various moon phases, such as the influence of light-dark lunar cycles on ocular melatonin rhythms. Ram, Kim, Takamura, Park, and Lee, 2004. Looking back on the 2010 rut. 2010 rut was tricky to predict, but we nailed the rutting peak at the first few days in November. Our rut date prediction was validated by hunters throughout the Northeast and Midwest. 2010 had in effect 13 moons, the first on December 31st. The second unusual complication was that harvest moon landed right on the autumnal equinox. These two unusual astronomical occurrences made it difficult for rut predictors, some even projecting a very late rut. In 2010, bucks shed their velvet in the first few days of September, and within a week had set up their first breeding scrape sites. Right here is the scrape. It's a major scrape. Again, it's September 11th, 2010. This scrape extends over here. You can
see how he got right over in there and started pawing too. At the base of it, he also hit it with his antlers. I mean, they've been, him or they have really been working this over. But wow, to see this many fresh ones this early, something else. Again, this is September 11th. This is like late September, early October normally. But this year, look at that. Again, you want to prove that it's fresh by looking at the scrapings on the leaves, and they're dry. This early, I've never seen it like this. I have never seen it in 39 years of hunting deer. I've never seen this kind of scraping and rubbing activity this early. Now see, that looks, this rub here, when he did this, this is older. You can see the shavings are older. It looks like about a week old. The bucks just tore this place up. The full moon, the harvest moon in September 2010. And the amazing thing about this particular year, it's a lot like 2002, that the moon is very close. Matter of fact, it's only 7 hours difference between the harvest moon being full and the autumnal equinox.
The harvest moon. Full moon closest to the fall equinox is the harvest moon, and it actually sets the internal rut clocks in white-tailed deer in the Northeast and the Midwest. At mid-October in 2010, there was a scraping peak, and 2 weeks later, around November 1st, the first of the major rutting peaks of 2010 unfolded. And then, as predicted in the video, 2010 Rut Prediction, the rutting began in the final week of October and into the first week of November. Bucks and does continued to hit the scrapes in early November, getting primed for their final rut spike of the third week of November. In 2010, by the third week of November, bucks were once again beginning to chase each other away from their scrape clusters, and 10 does as the WBN's whitetail breeding nucleus formed. But by Thanksgiving, the rut was tailing off. Bucks were starting to shed their antlers by early December. Though some bucks, of course, keep their antlers into deep winter, even early spring. I watched this buck, this antler shed on December 11th, 2010. He was wearing only one, having shed the other one earlier. The mystery of the rut towards a deeper understanding. So we have seen what will happen, and we saw what did happen, but the rut continues to be a mystery that we're still trying to figure out completely. Trail cameras give us a remarkable insight into the mystery of the whitetail's world. Each year, each rut cycle unfolds in 3 waves of breeding fanfare and activity, and each wave has a peak. In the Northeast and the Midwest, the first rut peak occurs sometime in October, the second in November, and the third in December. Other areas of the country have later ruts, such as Mississippi with the November, December, January rut cycle. But which weeks, and how do we tell, so we can take time off?